Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond at the Bullfrog Reviews. And this is Age of Legends, Book 4 of the Legends of the First Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. And it has started. The war between human and elf has clashed, and heroes will rise on both sides, and what has happened is it's gonna be bloody. And that's all I'm going to say, because there's a lot happening in this book. It's gonna be very intricate. It's not just battle heavy, but there's a lot more going on between the human side and the elf side, and the struggles within the war, and also those who are not fighting in the war. But there's a lot more. There's actually a lot more interesting happening in this book. With this book, it's mainly the beginning, because it's not just the beginning itself, but what happens. Sorry. But what happens is the first three books, Age of Myth, Age of Sword, Age of War, they're like their own set. It's the first half of the series. The second half of the series, Age of Legend, Age of Death, Age of the Empire. This is the second set. This is the second half. And it's like everything has changed. The tone has shifted. The presentation is different. And you're leaving with cliffhangers. And Sullivan, in most of his books, well, basically everything I've listened to, which is almost all of them, he doesn't leave you with cliffhangers. And the second half of this series, in book 4, Age of Legends, there's a cliffhanger. And I thought he did it well. But this series, this second half, there's a lot more different. Everything has shifted, and there's a little bit more going on. I mean, a lot more going on. And you can feel this shifting of storytelling at the beginning, where he has two different time jumps. And I found it a little jarring, a little messed up. It's not like, oh, this was bad. It was more the lines of, I'm listening through all of these back to back to back, and there was a good flow, and then suddenly, boom, boom, it was a bump. And it took a while for it to restart and keep on going. It's like the characters that you know are now being reintroduced almost, because it's been years later of this constant war. And people are wondering, is the war going to continue on, or should it just end and find peace? There's still that debate. But now, people have grown up a bit. People have gone a little bit more mature. And some people have changed and some people haven't. It is like, well, you're getting reintroduced. It's kind of, well, you're getting your back up. The flow starts. And the ending of this book is what I think Sullivan is good at. And that is the build. The build-up, the payoff. I mean, this ending didn't feel like that was the ending of the book. This ending felt more like this is what book 1 and 2 and 3 have built up to. Yes, there was that bump at the beginning, but the build-up, and suddenly right here, this is not the end of the series, but this moment at book 4, it hits a mark that is uncanny and left my jaw drop going, holy crap. That was out of left field, not in the sense of a shock value, but in the sense of that was a good payoff to have a character struggle and make a choice where these characters, at the beginning of the story, at the beginning of this whole series, they were one way, and right here, this moment of book 4, you see growth beyond growth. And it is, wow! That is a good payoff to see these characters grow. That was a good payoff to see some characters stand up. It is really cool. It's amazing. This is what character development leads to, and this is not the end of the series. This is just the end of book 4 with a different tone and shift, and suddenly that payoff is just great. And it has a cliffhanger, which is, yes, oh my goodness. Yet, that is a good way. It's not just a good ending, but it's a good, it's like the best way I can think of it is that is a good way to pay off the dedicated reader. Because the way how he does his characters I like so much. And what I like about it is what makes us human. Most people, when you read in a book and see in a movie, it's all about their personality. And face it, we like a person with personality. But what makes us more human is our connections, the people we bond with. Friend, brother, sister, romance and lovers and husbands and parents. That's what we all humans are. It's connection. And the way I like about Sullivan in his character, and the way how he builds characters, is actually with their connections, their friendships, their families. But it's mostly those connections. You've read it, you see it in book 2 a lot more, and book 3 is a pretty neat build. But then right here, it's like you're getting this satisfaction of seeing these connections and where they are leading to. And one of them, I can't spoil, but I felt like was really good and really built up to something you don't see that often in a stories that much. And again, I can't help but he deserves praise in how he builds characters with their relationships. And wow, hats off, that is a great payoff. And it's just that tone shift and the beginning, that bump. It was a rough one for me. And Age of Legends, this is my second listen through. And it's hard for me to connect with the book because of that beginning, but the ending, again, you heard me praise. It's a good ending, but I don't feel like most books and movies, the ending, if you can stick the ending, that the thing is good, but I don't feel like the whole book should depend on that ending alone. You need to see the whole thing. The ending is good. The beginning is rough. And that transition between the beginning and ending of this book had a rough connection for the beginning and ending and how it was. And Sullivan did it. And I love him for it. I mean, that was a struggle, but yet he does it and does it good. And the narrator, Tim Gerard Reynolds, he is still good. The editors when you listen to, they're a little better in this one than the last one. There's still a few mishaps, but now it's just the space. There's a pause once in a while. But the pause, I like a pause more than the transition rushing from paragraph to paragraph. So it doesn't feel like I went from one subject to another subject, and I didn't feel that difference. But that gap, okay, I don't mind that gap. Just don't do it too long, because pretty soon I'm wondering, is my headphones working? But all in all, that's the book. The Age of Legends is really good. And where would I put it? If you don't know me, I Rate books 1 out of 7. Why? 1, 2, 3, 7, 6, 5. High 3 and a low 3, and in the middle is number 4. 4 is the halfway mark. And 1 is, I can go outside, look in dirt, get a shovel, and pull up and go, oh my gosh, there's a plot. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at dirt. That is a 1. Where a number 7 is something I could reread. Something that I can love and connect with, but do many deep dives on. But also there's that sense of art. The sense of there's something pretty amazing. And Age of Legends, I would give a 5 out of 7. That tone shift from the second half, that beginning is rough. It's a rough transition. But again, it pays off at the end, but I don't want to have this whole book depend on the ending. And that was kind of rough for me. But it's not, he made his choice. It was a good choice. I love you for it. I just have to be honest with myself. It's a 5 out of 7, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's awful. It's just the mechanics of the book, mostly. But I love this book. That ending is good. I think you people will love it. And that's my review of Age of Legends by Michael J. Sullivan. A 5 out of 7. So please enjoy. And this is the Bullfrog signing off.